Hi everyone, I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of a property I've selected. Typical late Victorian Edwardian property and in a decent area. I'm going to fill it with thoughts and observations just taken from the brochure, agent's brochure, and my take on the overall condition. Sort of been boundary wall there, and first impressions, not a bad job. When we look closer, maybe we're going to see that this brickwork isn't looking great down here. It's been repaired, as this has, and generally the pointing is in need of redoing throughout. They've, by the looks of it, used the old slates for the new area, and then at the same time had the existing property re-roofed in what seemed to be the synthetic slate through tones. So you've got a mismatched bit of roofing here, which is a shame. Here's the chimney stack, original boundary wall. It's coming across at an angle that would have ended across meeting this section here. So all this is your new part which they've built up to the pavement. And in so doing, you see an interesting patch here. This is a damp area, and actually as the ground levels have come across, they've met with problems on this raised higher pavement. So it's going to be worth checking all the way along here inside at low level to see if there's adequate damp proofing, given that this floor level inside is below the ground level outside. That's definitely a big one to check all the way along the inside of that extension. They've made some effort with the detailing, that's good, but here, as we'll see elsewhere, failed with the glazing. It doesn't match the late Victorian Edwardian character of the property. The brickwork here, the way it's been repaired and repointed quite badly, indicates sort of historic problems, and we might see more of those as we go through. In fact, in the reception room, you see this cracking here, which is to the left of the bay window, so on the outside to the right. Now that corresponds with this repaired section all the way down here, which in turn corresponds with a downpipe. So I get the feeling there's been damp and ingress of water, which may have caused that plasterwork failing, or it could be a structural indicator. Although everything looks fairly true as you take the alignment of these lintel sections over the windows. At first glance, it looks fairly robust. So maybe it's more of a issue relating to a damp corner there. This can be tapped and felt on site, see if it sounds hollow. Either way, I would say it needs hacking off. Maybe a helifix system in there to bond any cracking through the brickwork, re-render it with a mesh and make good. Otherwise, we've got this door through to the added annex, which is a shame. Makes this a corridor, and visually that's unsightly. Generally though, the place has been renovated reasonably. It looks tidy. The ceilings look replaced. I know the cornice and the rows, they are. Worth checking this ceiling to look as if it's been repaired or if it looks new. There is some slight shadowing there, so potentially it could be a retained ceiling, and worth seeing if it shows any signs of cracking or dipping, which will indicate that it's in need of attention shortly. Okay, back garden. Here's the new extension, which is pretty unsightly, and the glazing really lets it down. You've got a bit of space out here though, and I would say I'd be tempted to form a ground floor extension out here, perhaps bring the kitchen to that location and create a kind of courtyard feel to the place. You have the space, get rid of this 90s yucca. At the same time, the re-roofing, that could be done. Oh, this chimney stack has been capped off, so they put air bricks in, but check all the way down below in this section here to see if there's evidence of that chimney stack either encouraging or retaining damp in this area. And looking at the downpipe arrangement, worth checking how this is working, if it is working. Look for damp around here, and as you can see, you've got the higher ground levels that they've encountered as they built across. Now this stepped render band indicates that they probably struggled with how they were going to deal with the damp-proof cores. Worth checking building control to see who undertook the work, whether it was inspected, because this looks to me very they've made it up as they've gone along. So I would be very concerned with this. You can see it here as well. The brickwork is showing signs of being, yes, it's concealed by the fence and probably a damper sort of corner, but this lower level, you've got the floor level in here which is lower than the pavement outside, so all the way along that flank wall, worth checking. Dated kitchen, check this where they've removed this wall in the past. Should at least be a padstone here, potentially a steel down here as well. So again, reference that with building control, any records on the property. I'd say the whole kitchen is dated, and beyond the pot plants and flowers, you can see the windows aren't original, the layout doesn't really work, tiling's cracked, hopefully nothing to do with movement in the floor. A bit of what I thought was boxing in, but I think that's the corbelling for the masonry of this party wall, which in turn picks up these joists for the floor in the room above, and I think they've boxed that out where the brickwork steps. Or they might have put a beam across here and had to conceal it. Again, building control. Check with fire separation too, if they've complied with that, from the kitchen through to this, what seems to be a very open area. There should be, consideration of that. And there should be mains smoke detectors throughout, which I can't see here. There's the extension over there. There's that render band indicating their difficulties with the damp-proof course and how to deal with the higher ground level. Bathroom, dated, bath store, 2003. Walk-in, wet room, check damp, because unless they're done well, notoriously problematic, as are niches. If they're not waterproof well, they're going to allow water into the wall or the room beyond, if there was one. The grouting's tired, it's been cleaned up, the silicone down here, it's got mildew on it. It's all a bit, it's a pass, but it's worth investigating. Definitely below this wet room walk-in area. Bedroom, those cupboards are a no, aren't they? Look, if that's the best they can manage with the hinging, I think you could consider those in need of replacement. There's no original coving. The window isn't original, so really there's not much there that's of great value, and I believe it looks as if it comes off at an angle. Problematic for furniture, which is probably why this is sitting in the middle of the room. Yeah, it's acceptable. This little corridor single, plasterwork looks bad here, where it's picking up the light. Again, you got this boxing in here, worth checking why that's there. It looks like some kind of support structure up there, as it's continuous rather than pipework. And this awful window, which really detracts from the property, and the radiator cover. There's not much in there of value. Awful window again. This is leading to the roof terrace, which would fail any kind of building control, so it's not to be considered usable. Balustrade's too low, parapet wall's too low. Access obviously is through the window. They've vaulted the ceiling to try and increase the headroom. I believe this is a structural element here for the loft room above. Yes, here it is. This is the loft room above, which is very small, all set at an angle. Quite tired. I'm not sure what use you'd consider for that one. If there's an option to put a dormer window here, you can maximise headroom in there at least. This is access to the loft room, space saver staircase, notoriously unpleasant to use with last resort stuff, and it turns this workstation room into basically a corridor with a desk in it. The window, again, replace it. If this glazing is acting as any kind of fire separation, that should be checked whether it's compliant. It's nasty anyway as a detail, and this glass should at the very least be toughened given its height. Yeah, back to the outside again. Reuse the old slates and then re-roof the original property with the synthetic ones. Here we go, that problem there. Let's have a look at the floor plans. I think this should be closed off. I don't like that walk-through that this creates. This is open all the way through, so these should be fire doors from the kitchen. Oh dear, through to a bathroom. Oh, that's where the bathroom is. Okay, don't like it myself. Now, in here, I would be tempted to extend this, if possible, like that, and make this nice courtyard shape. Make this more of the sort of family room. Over to you with bathroom thoughts. I don't like it down there myself at all. But generally, this layout is really confused. Unless you were just going to completely treat this as an Airbnb annex, in which case you could make better use of this kitchen. You could still extend this, or you could just, for the sake of economy, just keep it as it is, Airbnb it, close this off. And it's useful, lots of insight, lots of areas to consider, things to check out on your viewings and questions to ask. Tried to give you lots of pointers on those areas that popped up as worth investigation and not looking up to scratch. And if you take it from there, following up those suggestions, I think you'll really start to unravel what some of the problems with the property may be. But hopefully a good start, and good luck with following it up.